Hey guys, so welcome to another super secret Patreon Q&A video. As always, I'm going to repeat the rules because if you're new to this secret channel, it isn't a channel, but it's a new way of filming. This is going to be a visual podcast. So in the sense that I am not going to show any inserts or any images right now on the video, unless I specify that I'm showing you something. So if you want to clean your room or draw or go out for a run or do something and not stare at the video, you can totally do it. It's okay to put me in the background as always. Another thing that you need to know is that all the questions are going to be listed down below with the minute mark. So in case you want to see all the questions that I'm going to answer right now, you can go to a specific one and not watch the entire video. I mean, if you want to watch the entire video, that's totally okay. But this is how it works and this is how it is. Okay, so the first question is from Elodie Duclos. I am reading your question, Elodie. Hi, Fran. This is my very first secret Q&A. Welcome! And I'm very happy to be able to ask you a question. So here it is. How do you describe in a few sentences the impact you're trying to have with your illustration career and with the business of stationery that you want to create? I am very curious because I am currently focusing on finding a new career where I can have an impact that resonates with me. Thank you so much in advance for your answer and have an amazing day, Elodie. Thank you so much, Elodie. So this is a very tricky question that I am trying to answer myself, actually, for me, because what I'm trying to do with my work, at least this is my honest answer, Elodie. I have no idea what I'm trying to do with my work. For the past couple of years, since I began to be an illustrator, as like a professional illustrator, I was just illustrating because I wanted, and even though I still want to illustrate right now, I'm trying to find my voice as an author and my voice as an illustrator, as an artist. And I recently posted something on my Twitter the other day about this, not crisis, but this thing that I have going on about thinking of what I want to say with my work, what I want to reach. Right now I want to start talking about the things that matter to me, because I feel that even though I love talking about my daily life and my freelance life and the things that I do that are very simple and very, I don't want to say superficial, but not deep in that sense of the word, I am trying to do more stuff that resonates with me. For example, I want to talk about more feminism, but not all the things that all the people are talking about feminism, but what I live, what part of feminism I am living, and that's why I'm reading a lot about feminism and how it's reaching me in some way, or veganism, or what illustration means to me. I am trying to, I don't know, like distance myself from what everybody else is doing with illustration. And that is very hard because I have no idea how to approach this challenge and this crisis right now. With the stationery brand, I feel like I had this idea because everything that I'm doing right now, Elodie, is the same size of what I am. Everything that I'm doing depends directly on me. And if I want to create something that I heard a few months ago when I was listening to the Being Boss podcast, they were interviewing a very talented woman, and she said that the problem with a lot of bloggers and people in general in the internet world is that they're not building a legacy. Everything they're building, it's the same or equal size as them because it's in direct proportion of who they are and what they're living. And the problem is that what I'm doing right now is that I'm not creating any legacy, and I feel like I want to create something that is bigger than me, bigger than myself. And that's why I am trying to do something bigger than me, and that even though is in direct proportion of my work, is not something that it's going to have my name per se. I mean, it's going to be made by me, but not directly it's not going to have my face on it. That's what I'm trying to say. The impact that at least I want to create with my illustrations, with my work, with my stationery brand is to help people. I feel like I had no idea what I am doing right now with my work and what I'm doing as an illustrator. I have no idea I was going to have this impact. I mean, in the sense of I started YouTube in the illustration side of YouTube because I wanted to answer some questions that people had, and I have no idea I was going to help so many, and I want to keep doing this. And at least this is what I want to create as an author, as an artist. But the impact that I have, I feel like you can plan out the impact that you want to have on people and with your work, but in the end, it's something that you can't control. When you say impact, I don't know if you're trying to say impact in terms of like how many people you're reaching out with your work, or what is the influence you have as an author. That's why I have impact is such a tricky word in some way. At least right now, what I'm trying to do with my work in an emotional sense is that I'm trying to cause happiness and a warm feeling when people see my work. I feel that there's so many awful things happening right now with the world that it's nice to see something gratifying. I mean, I don't know if it's gratifying the word, but something nice on the internet, and that you can find comfort on daily scenes, on your daily reality. I mean, I don't have a glamorous life, and I like that because it's very relatable, the work that I do, and if I can create that feeling in people, that is the sort of the impact that I want to create. But in terms of like how many people I want to reach, I'm always super scared of that word, because I feel like when I'm very scared of losing control, and in a bad sense, obviously. And I am scared of getting too big too fast. And so I kind of like the impact that I have. Of course, you always want a little more of what you have right now, but I am so comfortable with the size that I have right now of my audience and you guys. So I feel like in terms of impact, I like what I have, but I always aim for more in some way. So please let me know if I answer your question in some way. I feel like, of course, I read your questions before I answer them, and I try to think of how I'm going to approach your question, but I am speaking from the heart, so I don't know if this is what you wanted to hear, or what it was the sense of the question. So let me know, Elodie. Thank you so much for sending me your question. So Sacred Print says that she's making designs of saints and other illustrations the traditional way, but I would love to digitalize them. What would you recommend? The smaller Cintiq with no screen is too difficult for me, makes my brain explode. I know how you feel. Should I invest in the Cintiq with the screen? Have you ever used the iPad Pro? Oh, so, okay, there's a couple of questions. So the Cintiq that I have right now is, oh God. You need to look at the screen now, guys, in case you were drawing or cleaning. This is the Cintiq that I have. Again, it's backwards, but this is the... God, this is so old. I bought this on 2011, 2012. And I bought this third hand. And as you can see, this Cintiq has a small, no, it's a 13-inch screen. And I like it a lot. The only problem with this, guys, is that this Cintiq has like charger. It's not a charger, but it's like a second plug. So it's not something that you can carry around with you on your suitcase, or if you're going away. It's not like the iPad Pro. If I can be honest, guys, I would love to have an iPad, but I feel like since I already have this Wacom for 5 years, I feel terrible at buying a new iPad and just like trying to make the trying to move from one device to the other ones, knowing that this one is working perfectly. So right now I want one, and I know it's going to improve my work a lot, but I'm not working as much with digital work anymore. So I can't, this is the thing, guys, I can't this is, oh man, China. I can't recommend you what to do right now because I haven't used an iPad Pro that much. I only used it one afternoon at my friend's Mai's house, and it was amazing. I loved how it felt. I loved the iPad Pro. I use Procreate, which is the app that you use for in an iPad to draw and have multiple layers, and you can open it later with Photoshop. So if you're struggling with Photoshop, as I was reading your question, you can totally go to a shop and try the iPad Pro with the Procreate app, which is amazing. So I feel I don't feel the entitlement. I don't feel entitled to tell you what to do because I have a Cintiq with a screen and it works amazing. But at the same time, it doesn't have the portable solution as an iPad has. You know what I'm saying? So if you travel a lot, if you need something to work at your office, at school, at the university, if you go to an office to work, or if you don't have like a sort of desk area, I will highly suggest that you try an iPad. Right now, I know that there's tons of illustrators changing from Cintiq to or Wacom to an iPad because it's way more portable and is as amazing as a Cintiq or as a Wacom in general. So give it a go. I mean, if you want to try it, do it. And I know that Procreate is way more easy to use than a Photoshop. Tons of illustrators that I follow daily. An example is Andy from Creative Pep Talk, the podcast that I follow and listening religiously. He only illustrates with Procreate and iPad Pro. So I know that there's tons of illustrators that swears by it, but in my opinion, I can't recommend you something like that because I haven't tried an iPad that much. So that is my honest opinion, girl. If you feel like Photoshop is not giving you the right tools, I will highly suggest you try an iPad. And I hope I made sense, by the way. I'm sorry. So, oh, you sent another one. So last thing, will you be willing to share with us your weekly calendar that you use your schedule things? I love your monthly one. So this is something that a lot of you guys ask me constantly, and I actually share the PDF in high resolution so you can guys print the whole thing and have it on your desk. I think if you scroll down Patreon, you'll find the file. So and I did the same thing last year. It's something that I do every year as a like end of the year gift for you guys in Patreon. So make sure you go all the way down and you will find the file. Steph asked, I want to ask something about illustration and illustrating people and poses and how to gauge your process. That would be so cool. Have you ever done a daily drawing challenge where you weren't really happy with almost every day you do? Yeah, okay, so Steph. Talk about learning to draw people and poses. And how do you gauge your process? That would be so cool. I think I don't have a method. I just go and draw people when I see them. I feel like, Steph, the best way of learning how to draw stuff is to actually look at them in real life. I feel it's so hard to grasp or to have an idea of how body language is only by looking at pictures. I mean, it's amazing to have it as a reference, but if you're learning body language or poses or anatomy in general, I will highly suggest you go out on the street, especially go to like a very busy street. For example, when I want to draw people, I go to a coffee shop or I go to a very busy street when there's sometimes here in Hastings, I think every Thursday there's it's not a fair, but it's like a market, like street market. And street markets are amazing because people, even though they walk a lot, they're also standing and doing poses for a couple of minutes or seconds. So markets and coffee shops, going to the beach is a perfect opportunity to see people in a very relaxed and different environment. And I feel like if you want to really, really grasp the idea of how human body works, or how they look like and different body postures and body types, please go to a real physical place instead of the internet. The internet is amazing when you want to do something rush, like I'm an emergency commission and I really want to do something, then go to the internet. But if you want to practice, just take one morning off, take your favorite coffee shop or like hot beverage and go to a beach, park, etc. and draw. You were asking if have you ever done a daily drawing challenge where you weren't really happy with almost every day you drew? Yes. Actually, the animal challenge was really challenging because most of the drawings, I mean not most of the drawings, but a lot of the drawings I weren't really happy with them. I think I mentioned this with you guys with the $20 pledge or the sketchbook pledge, that there were a couple of illustrations that I wasn't really happy at all with the result. But since it was a daily challenge and it was an illustration that I had to upload every single day with no exceptions, I had to upload it anyways, even though I wasn't happy with the results. I feel like that is the essence, that is the charm of a daily challenge, that despite the fact that you don't like the result, you have to do it anyways. And that is something that I really appreciate of daily challenges, that you learn a lot and you have to deal with being disappointed and not happy with the result, but still have to do it. And how you get past the frustrating bits and of knowing what you want the thing to look like, but not being able to make it feel right on the paper. I feel like the frustration is something on a daily challenge where you have to just deal with it, but in a productive way. So for example, on the times, every time, for example, on the animal challenge where I wasn't happy with the result, I had to I try and I did my best to not repeat that same mistake the next day. And that was something that I tried to do my best on the daily challenge. So instead of feeling like crappy about yourself or feeling frustrated like, oh, I didn't like this and now it's on my Instagram staring at me, mocking at me, try to convert that energy, that like crappy energy, into something more useful and good for you. Sort of like, I am going to use this energy as a motivation to prove myself better. I can do this better. I can like focus this energy into improving my work, into not repeating the same mistake. And like being honest, you can, for example, in a daily challenge, you can say like, I didn't like this drawing at all, but since this is a daily challenge, I have to upload this anyway. And people really appreciate when you upload mistakes or you open yourself to them. So even though, like, despite the fact it's something, the result, it wasn't at your standards, it's still something very interesting and positive to share with people. Do you have specific ideas to switch? No, wait. Yeah. Do you have any specific ideas to switch things up for, or make sure to keep getting better when it seems you're in an illustration rut? If it happens to you, oh, it happens a lot, baby. Ideas to switch things up or make sure you're getting better. I feel when you're in between this crisis or this sort of like ruts, as you say, it's nice to take challenges. I know. But when I feel stuck or my motivation is getting lower and lower and lower, I try to draw things that I enjoy drawing, things that I know I'm good at drawing at least. I try to go to museums. I try to, for example, take a nice weekend off. Try to go, if you can, of course, try to travel and go to a trip. I try to read and read lots of graphic novels. And also, I know we already said this, but challenges, weekly challenges or monthly challenges are amazing to switch things up. With this, and again, I'm sorry for saying the same example, but with the animal challenge, I remember I was in a rut. I remember myself saying like, I'm drawing the same things all over again, and I feel like I never draw animals. And the only way of pushing myself was to do the challenge. Okay, this seems like difficult questions. There, my brain hurts, so don't worry if you can answer them. Oh my god, Steph, I hope I did answer them and I hope I was useful. I feel like I always have the feeling that I never answer your questions properly, guys, so please let me know if I did. Chloe asks, yay, my favorite time of the month. Chloe, thank you for taking the time to answer our questions. I wanted to ask about the process with working with clients, since you shared with us how the editors didn't like the first round of the book cover you created. I love the final, by the way. Thank you, Chloe. How much do you involve clients in your process? So usually with things like this, like covers and stuff like that, I always make sure, I mean, I know covers are a pain in the ass to do, guys, because they involve lots of time and lots of people who have to approve a cover, because the cover is the first thing you see on a book and is what the a publisher house, an editorial house, they represent the values and the like principles they have. So of course they have to be all aligned. Of course you're not going to put a naked lady on a publisher that specializes in scholar and like school books, so you have to have that in mind. In some way, my main goal as an illustrator when I work with clients is to make them as much as possible part of the process as I can, because most of the time, guys, clients either don't know how to work with you or they're very scared of working with you because they don't know you, they don't know the process, they don't know how you are, like who you are or stuff. So I always make sure to first send my terms and condition document that I already showed you once, but it's basically a document that it has a very serious title, but it's basically a small PDF where I write who I am and how I like to work. And in this document, I say, for example, that I will make sure to make you part of the process as much as I can. With this, I mean, for example, that I send daily or weekly updates of how the work is going. I also send lots of sketches so they can approve and we have a mutual feedback. I remember, oh my god, this is the longest Q&A ever, but I once had a client who wanted to make a logo with me, and I don't do logos anymore, but I remember that they wanted to open like a small vegan shop, and they wanted Ed, my husband Ed, as the logo of the shop. And I was like, are you kidding me? I can't draw Ed as a logo because he's a person and it will suit the brand and the values of the brand. But they were obsessed with Ed. They loved Ed and they were like, no, we want Ed as our logo, blah, blah. And I was like, I really need the money. I really need the money and I would love to have the money and say yes to everything they say. But of course, my graphic designer slash illustrator mind is like, this is not going to work. Ed cannot be a logo for all these reasons. If they, for example, if they want a vegan brand, Ed will not represent their values as vegan and stuff like that. Is such a specific context to have a person as a logo for your brand, unless it's a grandma and you're trying to sell like jam or like a very sweet pastry. Using a person as a logo is very dangerous. So I tried to explain this to them, but they were obsessed of having Ed as a logo, and I had to pull me out of the mix. I was like, if you want to have Ed as a logo, I can't work with you because I am really against this. I mean, I love my husband. It's not nothing against him. It's just that I can't put my name on a work that I know it's not going to work. And that was really hard, guys. I don't know if I'm explaining myself, because I know, Chloe, you asked me how to get involved, like how to make them, your clients feel involved in the process. But that is how I like to get involved, telling them what to do. No. Am I making sense, guys? I don't know. Do you show them rough sketches, or is it the first round almost the final? I always send them rough sketches. Unless the client is like super hardcore important, I never send color sketches, for example. Sometimes I see illustrators taking all the time to paint sketches, And it's not that I'm against that, but it takes too much time and it's very exhausting to do that entire process just for a sketch. Unless it's the New York Times or a very awarded newspaper or magazine or media in general, all my sketches are like pencil and paper, baby. Yeah. How do you prevent situations of completely redoing things if they don't like it? And have you had to redo things many times? Oh yeah, baby, I had. That's why my sketches are they're as done as I can, but always pen and paper, like pencil and paper, because I hate the idea of working really hard on something and have to do that all over again. That's why, for example, when I work with clients, I always make sure to let them know that please, all the adjustments, they have to be in the sketch, like in the sketch period, because once I paint the illustration, it's going to take me 4 times to modify everything because everything will be painted already. So I make sure to let the client know, like, if you want to make any adjustments, if you don't like a hand or a face or something on the background, please let me know now in the sketch period and not later. And since it's not that I'm annoying, I'm super nice in emails and everything. I use emojis and everything, so that they are very nice with me and all that. I always make sure to be super careful, especially in that hot zone, in that hot area. And I don't have that many redos anymore because of that, because I make sure to let them know that all the adjustments are in the sketch period. And it's nothing wrong to remind clients that, so don't worry, Chloe. I would love to know the steps and step-by-step process. Thanks, Fran. Hope you all is well. Thank you, Chloe. So this is my step-by-step is that I usually so before I start, I ask the client what are the hopes and dreams of that particular project, what they expect from me, what they want me to do. If there's a text or something that they need to give me, I ask them right away, like for example, a text, information about the article, information about everything that I try to know everything that I can about the project before I start. And then I let them know when I am going to send them the sketch or when they want me to send the sketch. So if there's a deadline, if this is a rush, for example, commission, how much time is it available and stuff like that. And usually that same week or the week after that, I send the first sketches. Usually I send 1 sketch per project, but sometimes when the clients are very undecided, when the client doesn't know what they want, I usually send like 1 or 2. And once everything is done, once all the adjustments and changes and everything is super done and right, I start painting. And usually painting is the fastest part because it's very automatic. Unless they want a totally different color palette, usually there's no many changes in the color period of the commission. And that's it. And once they approve everything, I send everything on a PSD file in high resolution. I never send illustration with layers. I never send originals because you're not supposed to send originals. And that's it. That is all the process. Thank you so much for your question, Chloe. Evangeline says, hello, I am visiting London soon. Do you have any recommendations for London and the UK? I love hipsterish stuff like cakes and art markets and the like. Okay, Evangeline, things you need to do in London. I'm going to leave a list down below just so I make sure that I write and I mention everything. But of course, the Soho and Covent Garden area in London is gorgeous. Please go to the London Graphic Centre, go to the Veggie Pret because it's insane and amazing. There's also a restaurant very close to the Veggie Pret that it's called Mildreds. It is one of my favorites coffee shops in London. It's a restaurant more than a coffee shop. And all the what is it called, like the gallery, the National Gallery and the National Portrait Gallery that is in Trafalgar Square is gorgeous. There's a park over there that is also amazing and I love it so much. So all of that area, that like huge block, is awesome. Please go to the Lush store because there's 4 floors of amazing Lush goodness that I really enjoy and like. What else you can do? God, Hackney is also amazing as a neighborhood. And what else? Of course, you have to go to Gosh Comic Book Store. That is also in the Soho area. Everything's in the Soho area, basically. But yes, you need to go there. And that's it, babies. That's it. That's all the questions. Oh my God. Thank you so much for sending all your questions and all your thingies. I am so sorry if this Q&A was too long, but I really wanted to take the time to answer everything and to share my weird anecdotes and stuff like that. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I don't know if you noticed, but I am starting to share all of the works and commissions that I'm doing right now with you guys, because I don't know if you noticed, but I deleted the $50 pledge. So all the things that I was sharing with the $50 pledge, I am now sharing with you, because now it's much easier, and I hope you're enjoying seeing what I'm doing alongside of me. So all the projects and all the behind the scenes of the stuff that I'm working on right now, they're now going to be available for you. Thank you so much for your support and for all the love you send me monthly. I can't believe, oh my God. You guys are great. You guys are amazing. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed this very long video. I hope I entertain your ears and your thoughts during this almost a half an hour of your time. And I hope you're having an awesome day and a great week and an awesome and perfect month. Yeah. Okay, bye guys. Bye. I'm getting coffee now. Bye.